Welcome to Hey Ivan, a channel where people ask tech questions. Today's question is, how can I extend my phone's battery life? Over the last few weeks, my phone's battery started to die much faster than usual. All of a sudden, I began going through the list of things that I normally check to try and fix the problem, which got me thinking, I should probably make a video to share the steps that I took and steps that we can all take to make our phones last longer on a single charge. Stick around to the end of this video to find out what fixed my problem. But first, let me tell you what happened and all the things I did along the way. The phone I use every day is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which I got back in September of 2019. Those of you who know me might be wondering, why didn't you get the iPhone 12 right when it came out? Drop a comment if you'd like me to answer that question in an upcoming video. So my iPhone is, at the time of this recording, almost a year and a half old. When I first got it, I would charge my phone overnight and unplug it around 6 a.m. Then I'd listen to podcasts in the morning as I got ready, drive to work, running Waze for about an hour while continuing to listen to my podcast. And at around 9 a.m., my phone would show something like 95% battery remaining. Then I'd use my phone off and on all day long, drive home using Waze again, and at around 10 p.m., I'd plug my phone in to charge it. It would have around 60 to 65% battery left, which was great. That was the whole reason I got the Max version of the iPhone. I wanted the bigger battery and extra battery life. A few weeks ago, all of that changed. My iPhone showed 100% when I unplugged it in the morning, but after just 3 hours of use, even without using Waze, the phone would show only 70 to 75% battery. By 8 p.m., it would show only 20%. And as you can imagine, I was unhappy about the change and eager to figure out what was going on. You might be wondering, how do I even see the battery percentage on my phone? I put links in the description for how to do this in iOS, as well as in Android. On iPhones with no home button, drag down from the top right corner to see the percentage. The first thing I checked was screen brightness. If you crank the screen brightness all the way up, it can drain your battery fast. So I recommend checking to see how bright you have your screen set. For years, I managed the brightness of my screen manually to conserve battery. But when I got my new iPhone, I enabled the auto brightness setting, which turns the brightness up when you're outside and in bright situations, and it turns the brightness down when you're inside or in darker situations. It does a pretty good job of balancing both the screen brightness against the battery use. I put links in the description for how to adjust brightness in Android as well as in iOS. Keeping in mind that my phone screen could be the biggest reason my battery's draining, I went through all the notification settings and adjusted them so that only the apps I care about have the ability to wake the screen. Both iOS and Android label this setting as lock screen. For messaging and phone apps, I wanted those notifications to appear on the lock screen, but for apps like Netflix and Hulu, they didn't need to do that for me. You guessed it, I put links in the description for how to do this too. Next, when possible, I connect to Wi-Fi instead of using cellular. Sending data over cellular networks drains battery faster than communicating on Wi-Fi, and 5G cellular drains a battery faster than using 4G. So depending on your circumstances and how much battery you have left, you may wish to adjust a few things. If you're in an area of low coverage, airplane mode will save your battery too. Each time your phone scans to find a cell tower and it's unable to, that drains your battery a little bit. In my case, I stayed on Wi-Fi, so this wasn't my problem. The next thing I did was look at my battery settings. Both iOS and Android can tell you how your battery has been used and which apps are draining it the most, as well as how long these apps were active. This can help you discover whether one of your apps has gone rogue and might be draining your battery more than you expect. You can tell your phone to prevent certain apps from running in the background to help conserve battery too. Both iOS and Android have low power battery saver modes that can activate to limit the number of background tasks that can run to conserve power even further when your battery gets low. Links in the description. Location services is another area that can drain a battery fast. In general, I set my apps that need location to only use GPS when the app is in use. I checked, and this wasn't my problem either. The next thing I did was research lithium-ion batteries. Modern electronics, including smartphones, laptops, and tablets, use lithium-ion batteries as their power sources. These batteries, as you know, are rechargeable. What you may not know is that they don't suffer from the memory effects that limit the performance of other rechargeable battery technologies. Meaning, you don't have to worry about sticking to a set schedule when recharging, or you don't have to wait until your phone is about to die before plugging it in again. Device manufacturers will tell you that batteries in most consumer products have a lifespan that will allow between 300 and 500 discharge charge cycles. Once they hit that limit, they'll only hold a charge for a short time. Most of the people I know tend to hit that limit within 2 to 4 years, give or take. After that, your options will be to live with it, replace the battery, or replace the device. What's a charge cycle? It's when your device discharges 100% of power and is charged back to 100% again. The discharge doesn't have to happen all at once. See this graphic from Apple's website that shows what constitutes a charge cycle. As you can see in the graphic, a phone starts off with a full charge. Then it's used until only 25% of the battery is left. In other words, it has discharged 75% of power. Then it's charged back up again to the top. After that, it's used for another 25%, and then it's charged back up once more. That's a total of 100% drained and 100% charged across multiple events. This counts as one charge cycle. I interrupt this program to bring you an important addition. Both iOS and Android have features that are built in to help extend the life of your battery. On iOS, it's called optimized battery charging, and on Android, it's called adaptive battery. Both of these features do the same thing. They learn based on how you use your device to try and extend the amount of time it takes to complete a charging cycle. If it takes you longer to complete a charging cycle, your battery will last you longer in time. Now I send you back to your program, already in progress. On an iPhone, you can see your battery health to learn whether it's time to consider replacing it or your device altogether. I'm happy to say this wasn't my problem either. So what was my problem? Drift. Your phone measures the flow of electricity between charge and discharge cycles, and then it displays a number representing the battery's remaining percentage. This number, however, is an estimate and can drift to be out of step with the chemical battery in your phone. So every once in a while, you may need to calibrate your battery, which means give your phone enough information to know when the battery really hits 0 and when it really hits 100%. Here's an important note. To get the best performance from your battery, you shouldn't allow it to deplete fully on a regular basis. It's okay to charge it every day or so as needed. There's no memory effect for lithium-ion batteries. So you aren't teaching it bad habits by charging it every day. If you plan to go a long time without using your device, then deplete the battery to about 50% and turn it off. Or remove the battery for long-term storage, if that's even possible to do on your device. So how do you calibrate a phone's battery? Allow it to drain all the way to 0 and then allow it to power down on its own. Your phone will make a note of this event. Then, after a moment or so, charge your phone back to 100. Let it complete the charge fully before unplugging it. And that's it. I put a link in the description to a Battery University article that explains this in greater detail. Or you can check out the link to an iFixit article that explains the same thing in something closer to plain English. If you do elect to calibrate your battery, these articles recommend you don't do it all the time. Instead, once every 3 months or so is plenty. I did it on my iPhone and can tell you that now, after 3 hours off the charger, my battery is back in the 95% range again. At 10 p.m., the charge is somewhere around 50%, which is still really good. Why isn't it back up to the levels I got when my phone was new? Because lithium-ion batteries lose some of their maximum capacity every time they're charged. That's just how they work. Today, my iPhone says the battery health is 90% of what it was when new, and I'm okay with that. If you found value in this video, click like. Did I miss anything? Leave a comment. Do you have a tech question? Just shout, "Hey Ivan," and let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.